Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Happy Thursday.
Yeah, thank you. Look at that beautiful blouse back there.
It matches this other bag, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't that fun?
yeah.
How do you describe that kind of fabric? Like, is it like romantic or country or
Romantic country.
how would you describe those roses on the blue, Dara?
What roses on what blue? Where am I looking?
On the bag in the back there, those like there used to be a line of fabric called Lulu roses. Is this like how would you describe this style of the with the roses? And it almost always has the blue in the back.
I should know the answer to this. Having studied art and art history and textile design.
You got
Yeah.
nothing?
I don't have a name for that. I mean, like romantic. A lot of people would call it kind of like Victorian a little bit.
It's
But
so pretty.
Mhm.
Good morning, Miss Casey.
Good morning.
Thank you, Ocho.
All right, who's making an ironing board cover today?
Thank you. Ocho Díaz in France.
I'm making a sleeve board cover.
What's that? What's a sleep board? Oh, the little ones. I'm making a little one too, not that little though.
Yeah.
Are you just gonna watch, Gloria, and see what we create?
Well, I thought Tuesday somebody mentioned wanting to make an iron caddy, and I'm interested in that, but, oh, Casey. So I'm going to observe because right now I tried finding cotton fabric, and I know years ago I bought some of that silver, although mine was quilted. It's not the plain like ironing board cover filter, but silver, but I think it would serve the same purpose. But apparently it's out in one of those boxes where the Murphy bed mattress and frame and everything is blocking I can't get to them right now.
That's good. Well, you'll be inspired then. And then the beautiful part about watching is, oh, that's pretty.
I already made one.
You're crazy. What time did you start sewing?
Well, I cut it out yesterday and then I thought, well, let me see how this is going to go together. But I'm cutting out another one just in case I get another idea from you guys.
If you have space in your sewing room, Suzette, I love having 2 ironing boards. Because
I do have space, but I gave the other one to my daughter.
oh, but they're like so cheap. You can get one for 18 bucks.
Right.
But it's wonderful for laying things out and keeping them organized. Yeah.
I have a 6-foot folding table next to me where I keep all my
That's
stuff.
very nice. Okay, so Suzette already made hers. Tell us what you learned and what you would change about it.
I took my old one apart and then I just cut out fabric. I cut out too much around, like I left like 4 inches and it's a little bunchy in some places underneath, but it's not horrible. But I would cut maybe just a couple inches around.
Beyond the existing cover.
Yeah, because my pad went over the sides, it didn't just cover the top, so I really didn't need all that extra fabric.
Did you use elastic?
Yes, I first tried with the cord and I couldn't, it just wouldn't get snug enough. So then I took it out and put elastic in.
So did you thread the elastic through a channel or did you stitch it, stretch and stitch? Okay.
Yes, because the other one had binding with this little rope of elastic in. And then the edge of the ironing board cover was sandwiched in between there.
Oh, that's a good idea too.
But I'm not real good with binding, so I just made a channel. But I still have too much fabric around the edges. It looks good from the top, but if you look underneath, there's a little bit too much.
Can you show us? Would it be hard for you to show us? Good morning, Miss Tammy. Good morning, Cheryl.
Again, I say, if somebody's looking on the underside of your ironing board,
I
Smack
don't know
'em.
how to get it. I don't know how to fold this one.
Don't get
It's
hurt.
too- There's too
Oh, yeah.
much up here. But the rest of it is okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's fine. That's a beautiful underneath. No one's looking at that.
Probably not.
I'm gonna use it because I sewed my pad that I took out of the old one. I sewed it on there before I did the other stuff.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna use it, but I didn't know if you guys were gonna have different ideas, so I
I
can
have,
steal
I have a
yours.
couple for my little one, but I want to see if anybody else is getting started or has an idea of what they're doing with theirs. Do you have anything going, Dara?
I made a pattern. Since mine is so small, I just laid it down on my tracing paper and literally like moved my pencil around it. And then here, let me show you one that doesn't have lots of lines on it. So I made my pattern. You can see the inside line is here. And then I added 1.5 inches on the sides and 2 inches on the bottom. And I just guesstimated from what was on this. I don't know if you can see, but I remember using this in the 70s. So this is old.
Wow.
And
It's
like
gold.
part. So I don't know how much fabric really was there in the beginning, but clearly I need more. So I don't know if it's too much. And I'm gonna use double fold, the package stuff, not the super wide, but the regular wide to go around it. And then I'm gonna use string to pull it tight.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. I might have to adjust as I go. When I start sewing it, I'm not sure if this is 1.5 inches is too much. Some of the tutorials I looked at, they were leaving 3 inches and then folding it and then making a channel like that. And 1.5 inches seemed like enough because I'm going to lose like 3/8 of an inch when I sew my binding on. And then I'm going to have my binding on there. I think it'll be fine for this tiny thing.
Tell me how you use that for those of us that don't own one of those.
Oh, you can use it for all kinds of stuff. I mostly use it for ironing when I do my jeans, for like pressing down the heavy side seams. You leave it flat and slip it inside the pant leg, and then you can press that way. Or it's got a little stand on it that doesn't stay very well anymore. You can have it like this, and then you can slip a sleeve or a cuff or whatever you're working on. I don't know why it has 2 sides. That seems like overkill. One side's slightly smaller than the other side. Oh my God, look at how dark and dirty and nasty that is. Yuck. Now I'm like, I don't even want to know what it looks like under this when I pull this off.
Oh no, it could be all disintegrated. You better take it off on a surface. You
Take
can
it
wipe
off,
it.
just
Well, I
cover
have
it.
I cut myself new layers of cotting batten, and I
Nice.
cut 3 for each side, because when I kind of pull it up, I can see it's more than 1 layer, but it's completely disintegrating under there. And then I'm using, this is some old Woolrich cotton print that I have from, I made my son something out of this, like when he was 4. I don't remember what, but
Oh.
I have a big piece of it
Cute.
left over. That's
How
what
old
I'm
is
using.
your son now?
29,
Oh,
I think. He's born in 91. Yes. No. Yeah, he'll turn 30 this year.
Oh,
ah,
wow, that's a big one.
nice.
All right, that sounds really fun. Good morning, Sally. Good morning, Lynn.
Morning.
Casey, you're working on a project. Do you want to, that's a little different, but do you want to tell us your vision?
So I remember seeing these caddies a long time ago. And because I've been thinking when I'm traveling in the camper, I brought an iron with me, and I'd like to protect it a little bit and make it easier. And then also have an ironing surface, because I did take with me one of those small double-sided things where it's a cutting board on one side and an ironing pad on the other. And I managed to get that into the camper, but sometimes it was just too awkward to try and iron on that. So I thought this pad thing might work out easier. So I did find some videos with the pads on it, and they have a mini one and a bigger one, and there's a pattern. So of course on the videos they don't give you any measurements, but I'm thinking I want to make it so it's sized for my iron. So I might as well just I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to make the pattern instead of going with their measurements and their pattern, because I'm not sure it's gonna match up.
Do you have like a name of the pattern or anything, Casey? So we can just check it out and get an idea of what it looks like?
Yeah, I would have to go back to the video that I was watching, but I can post that.
What's it called again? It's called an ironing,
Iron tote.
iron tote.
Uh,
Okay. That sounds fun.
Gloria's got a picture of one.
Oh, good. Let's see.
Oh,
Is that part
Yeah.
of, is
Yeah.
that part of a pattern, Gloria, that like you have the name of the pattern right there?
I was looking at several videos yesterday and all of them recommended you buy this pattern. I think it was Two Sisters.
Yes.
But then I found this. I was looking at a quilting site that just popped up, and here's a, let me see if I can get myself full view so I can tell what I'm showing you. Okay. I printed this, well, it's backwards, but it says Iron Caddy tote, and it tells you how much fabric and everything. But Casey, I also have a very large Panasonic steam iron,
Mhm.
bigger than a standard. So I would have to adjust these measurements anyway.
Right.
And if you like, I'll be, if I could find it, I should have made a note of that site, because a lot of times it prints on the bottom.
Right.
What that quilting site is or was, but this one didn't. But here it shows you kind of step by step how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just by looking at the pictures and like you said, getting the measurements of your own iron, I think we could figure it out.
Yeah.
So then that caddy becomes the surface that you iron on.
Right.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
See, because
Oh, that's fun.
you unbutton it there and then it comes out like this.
So you definitely need that iron heat resistance
That's
material.
silver,
Have
yeah.
that, Casey? Do you have some?
Yes, because the point of it is that you can put it into it while it's still warm and not have, so you wouldn't want to do it with regular cotton. So you do have to get the insulating. And I have, of course, similarly, Gloria, packed somewhere that Thinsulite, some stuff that you can use for making pot holders and things like
Yeah.
that. So I may cut out, or I may just do some shopping for the fabric or whatever, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it all together in time I'm always behind. I finished my computer bag. I can show that tomorrow.
Oh, yeah? Oh, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah,
It
so I
fit?
did finish that,
Oh.
and everything fits. In fact, it's a little big. I can put my planner in it as well. So I put my bullet journal, the computer in that, and everything fits. Oh, hit my husband, my able assistant brought it, but so,
Oh, pretty. Wow.
and
Very nice.
everything, the cords and everything fit in it. So that was good.
Good.
So
Oh, that's
Yeah.
exciting. Make sure you bring it tomorrow though too, Casey, so everybody can see.
I'll load it up tomorrow so you can see it in action.
Oh, perfect. Excellent.
So
Yay.
if I can, I was gonna try and go up to storage and look for some of the parts that I know I have, but I don't have a whole lot of hope of finding that. A lot of the stuff I'm only gonna find when I unpack everything in July.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, let's see. Good morning, Joanne. Good morning. I thought I saw someone else come in the room too with Joanne.
Cheryl.
I said good morning to
Lynn.
Cheryl and Lynn and Sally. Welcome. Good morning, Tammy. Thanks for coming back.
Good morning.
We're making ironing board covers or some variation of it this morning.
I'm not going to make an ironing board cover because like I said, I just have a brand new one, but I just came to watch and observe, and maybe I might want to make one down the road, or
Yeah.
if somebody asks me how to make one or whatever, it's always neat to to observe and,
Plus you pick up good tips and tricks.
Yeah, yeah.
Gloria's watching too.
and
Are you
just
just
enjoy the
company?
chatter of all the ladies.
Come and enjoy the chatter. How about you, Cheryl? Are you gonna just watch too? Do you need an ironing board cover?
I was going to show the one that Gloria showed that I made, but I can't find where I put it.
Oh, no, you already
Everything
made
is,
one.
ever since the flood last June downstairs, everything's put away somewhere. And
Did you enjoy using it, Cheryl, when you did know?
oh,
where it
it's great because I made it for my regular size iron. And I take it to classes with me, just open it up and, you know, you can iron right on the pad. And then when you're done, you don't worry, like Casey said, about putting a warm iron in there because you have the Insulbright underneath and then that silvery fabric, whatever it's called. Yeah, so
Well, maybe it will turn up. You never know when you start looking. For stuff.
it's somewhere.
It's such a good
That-
idea to take an iron to class because you waste so much time standing in that line to iron when you take a
Oh,
class.
yes.
Now,
Yeah.
now what is that you're talking about? Is that like a portable?
Yes.
Do you have your
Yes,
kid-
Gloria showed there.
Okay, so it's like that's like a pad that you can iron on, but it,
Yeah, when you open it up.
It's
Mhm.
a carry tilt
You
with your
carry
iron
iron in.
guide.
so you put your iron in it as well.
When you
Yes.
open it up, it's got that silver ironing board fabric and Insulite inside, so you can iron right
Mhm.
next to your sewing machine.
Now, see, that's a great idea. That
Isn't
is
it
a
cool?
great idea.
I
Yeah.
would like to make that.
Yeah.
Now I would have made that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
When
it's
it
not
takes
too
the-
late. All you have to do is get the pattern and,
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
free pattern online.
oh, it's even free?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't
Okay,
find
what-
the actual
What's
pattern,
that under?
but Andrea, I'll search again where I found this at the quilting group. That was like from 4 or 5 years ago, they put it out there. And then I'll send that to you and you could send it out to the group.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you, Gloria. And then you'll
That's a
have-
great idea.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's super clever. Okay, cool. And Sally, you're just gonna watch?
No, I'm gonna make my little small one.
That's what I'm doing too, Sally.
Yeah.
And so mine's gonna have ruffles on it.
Of
So-
course.
Oh, but before I get started, Joanne, huge shout out and gratitude. I interfaced my pieces yesterday and I am so happy.
Oh, good.
These are completely workable now.
How did you do that? Did you iron it on?
I did. I got the, oh, this is an interface and I've never bought before. Maybe 911. It's really light, but fusible.
Oh,
Featherweight, they call it.
Probably, yeah.
I have some featherweight if I could ever find it out in the garage.
Yeah. And it was perfect. It just ironed on no problem. And it's just so much nicer.
Oh, that, yeah, I'd
I'm
like to
gonna
do
do
that.
that with every pattern that I think I will ever make again. Yeah. Oh, just so wonderful. Okay, so what I did, I had this ugly cover. Like, who decided to put this on anything? And so I just took it off. It did have the little ties, like, which now that I think it was Joanne too said that these are just crocheted strings when you make those. Somebody
could
told me all you have to do is crochet. Maybe it was Usha, but anyway, so that it didn't ever have elastic. It was just a serged edge. And then they put this little woven string through it and that's how it tightened around. So as a result of that, I could get it nice and flat. And so I just decided it would be easier to fold it in half and cut it right on the fold. And so I have that piece right here. And I did give myself about an extra 1.5 inches just to be safe. And then I went ahead and pressed it in force. You probably can't see. Suzette gave me this
Wow.
fabric, by the way. Isn't it stunning?
That's pretty.
It's
Love
so
that.
pretty. Yeah, I think they call it lotuses. And so I pressed that so I would have the markers for my ruffles.
Aha.
So this little ironing board, the computer is sitting on it, right? Hold it up. Has about a 4-inch height.
Yeah.
And it is going to be cute. So the ruffles are going to go around this. So it's literally going to be like a bed skirt for my iron. And then I'm going to look at how this foam just disintegrates. It's so gross.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cut out a brand new piece of foam from the Flex Foam, which I think will hold up better. And I do not think
How is that flex foam with heat?
I iron it anyways when I'm working with it, and nothing bad has happened. But that is a good question, Casey, because like over time, what would happen to it?
I might just put a layer of cotton
Maybe if you're not
batting
there, you'll
on
have
top
to
of that.
walk in and walk through it before they.
So you have
and then
cotton
you-
batting foam and then, so that just the,
So I think the benefit of the foam with this ironing board cover is going to be because it has those
Mhm.
cross ridges in it.
yeah, I was actually thinking, I have one of those little apartment ones that folds up. And it has that foam, and I was realizing when I was going on it yesterday that I could feel the metal through it. So I thought maybe putting cotton batting on top of that foam would alleviate some of that.
Yeah, I might do a layer of batting and foam then. Most of the time, I think I'll be using the wool pad on it anyways. So probably be okay. Also, I did get my little iron. Let me try not to burn myself and I'll show you.
Oh, you got yours. Oh, you got a different color. Why didn't you get pink?
This is
It's pink. It's magenta.
so cute.
We could have been twinsies.
And it comes with this awesome little cover that fits on the bottom of it so you can travel with it. And then you turn it
Oh.
the other way when you wanna.
Did
So
you- Got really hot?
it's plenty hot enough. I'd burn the heck out of myself, but it is taking, I didn't burn myself, but I would if I wasn't careful. I see what you mean about the steam though. Like it's not an insane amount of steam.
Yeah, yeah.
But I used it on the wool pad and it did just fine. So I think you almost have to have something else to conduct that heat
Mhm.
with it.
Yeah,
It'd probably be really nice for delicate fabrics.
yeah. I just decided not to put any water in it.
You never wanted to use water or you
No, I
just,
said I just decided not to use it for steam.
yeah, I'll keep playing with it and see. Maybe the steam function will get better, you know,
Yeah.
if I use it. Yeah. So Lynn looks like she's working. She's got her little iron going. Let's get an update, Lynn. What you working on? I like that little iron cuteness.
Yeah, I love this little iron. It gets hot really fast. The steam is good, steam fast. It's
Oh, it
much
has a
smaller than yours. But I did make that ironing cover for it to take to class. And we used to iron on the chairs.
On the chair.
Well, I had the cover. Yeah, we used to use the chairs for the ironing board. And we had these little dinky irons. And I've been using it ever since. I'm happy with the steam and everything. So I'm just pressing for my next mask extravaganza. So hopefully this weekend I'll get my mask out of the way. But I don't need an ironing board cover right now because we're not going to classes and I've got this silly little, so I just thought I'd join and watch. I've got this little quilter's cut and press.
Oh, that's nice.
So you can cut on one side and you can iron on the other. So I just use that in my sewing and it's a lot easier.
Ooh, that's really nice. I like it. Okay, how about you, Joanne? Are you gonna make an ironing board cover?
I am. I took mine apart so I could still use, I like the batting that was in it and it's still good enough. What it is, it's 2 layers of batting, one on the top, one on the bottom, and in the middle is foam. a thin layer of foam. So there's actually 3 layers. So I really do like this. Yeah, I never liked just 2 layers of the batting. And so when I saw that they put foam in the middle, I'm like, oh, okay, that's what they did. Now I would have said, I would have made it a little wider because I didn't take into account the batting when I cut it out. But that's okay. I think it'll still fit. I'll just make the allowances a little shorter. But yeah, no, so it's just, this is the color. It's not very exciting, but I didn't want anything that was going to interfere with me pressing something or me looking at something if I were going to like do a seam allowance or something like that. I just wanted to make sure I was going to be able to see what I was wanting to do without interference from the ironing board cover. So yeah, I'm doing that. Mine, however, is not as simple. The back of it had a really nice back that turned under with the elastic running through it. And so what they did in order to save fabric, so you cut the top and then you cut another layer for underneath. So it's kind of like, it's really like a very nicely made one. It's like you've got a top layer of fabric, you've got your battings, and then you've got another layer of fabric. So it's encased with fabric. And then on the back side, they add like this around the edges and underneath. So it's not like a really thin layer. It actually has several inches that goes underneath with the elastic that'll run through it around it. Now, originally, and I was going to say, and to save fabric, instead of cutting out this big piece all in one piece, you cut it in sections. Like the first section is like from here up. So you just have that, and then you can cut 2 pieces that are like this long. And then you have another section at the bottom that you just cut like that. So you can use smaller pieces of fabric. I was able to get away with it for 2 yards of fabric to get everything cut out. So I felt good about that. I didn't have to, I was thinking I was going to have to do more, but I was able to get, because of the way they broke it up. I'm going to do that. And then originally I was just going to put elastic on the outside because that's how they did. They had a fold over elastic. But then I realized, oh no, excuse me. That's what they had, the fold over elastic. What I was thinking of doing was like making a casing after I had the pieces together to make a casing and turn it under and everything. However, I wasn't taking into account the crazy curve.
Oh,
So
yeah.
if I did that, I would have had to have clipped into my casing. So instead, I just sewed them both together on the inside, flip them right side out, and then I'll just run like a 1/2 inch seam around it and just thread the casing through.
Oh,
So it'll work in the end the same way. I just had to think a little different because of I couldn't I didn't have any fold over elastic and I wasn't going to take that apart yet. I didn't have time to do that. But so that's what I'm doing.
it's a very cool concept. Have you ever made this replacement cover before, this first attempt?
Nope, I just cut my ironing board cover apart this morning. I was waiting until after I finished. I figured, oh, I've got to do some sewing on this last night because I knew I was going to have to press.
Yeah.
So I got that part done so that I could flip and press and everything. And then this morning I just cut the whole thing apart.
Wow.
That's fun. Yeah, that's liberating. And then you have to finish because you need an ironing board.
That's right. And I couldn't find one, that would fit my ironing board. I don't know why, but they just weren't around. So
Yeah.
they
I
have the
feel like
really
we
wide
gotta get
ones, but
attached to our ironing boards. Like
Mm.
they have to break before you replace them.
Well, that looks like a fairly high-end cover. I mean, they don't usually put that much effort into covers, so that is a nice
No,
cover.
they don't. And I've always wanted a nice cover. I really
Yeah.
can't stand the thin ones where you feel like you're getting the holes of the ironing board right through
Yes. Mhm.
and onto your fabric. So no, I was really disappointed when I actually couldn't find a replacement for it because of the size. And I was like, okay, we'll just do it this way. And glad you're all going to do it too.
Perfect. What were you going to show us, Cheryl? I'm reading.
Okay, this is something that we made after we made our caddies, our ironing caddies. It's a long piece that you drape over
Oh yeah.
the wide end of your ironing board. And
Lots.
it has a pin cushion and a pocket on one side. And then another pocket on the other side. But the pin cushion lays, of course, up on your iron. I mean, on the board.
I use that on my couch.
I love it. Do
You
you?
put it over the end of the couch, so when you're sitting
Yeah.
on the couch watching television, you just it's a little
Ah,
shorter probably
It's
than
portable.
that. Yeah,
Have
no, I
the-
love them.
have like
Yeah.
the remote stuff in it.
And I love it. I have, everything I need in it, little, everything.
What did you stuff the pin cushion with?
Just regular batting.
Really?
Yeah, no, I didn't mean batting. The fiber fill.
Oh, yeah, fiberfill, yeah.
Yeah, fiber fill. And then there's batting inside of this, the whole thing.
That's a fun project. Yeah.
It is. There's just so much in here. And when you scorch your iron, you have a place, I can't get it out, but the little things that you clean your iron with, everything is in here.
Really nice, Cheryl.
Yeah, I like that. I need one.
I will ask my friend where the pattern is, because she knows where everything is in her sewing room. And it would take me weeks to find it probably.
Mhm. Let's check in with Dara and see how it's going. This looks like she's putting some muscle into this.
Ah,
You're muted.
I'm using the pull the string method, and I can
Ooh.
handle this thing. Like, I'm manhandling it, and it is really hard to pull it tight enough.
oh,
I can't believe you already have something done. What did you
Wonder
do?
Woman.
Yeah, what did you do while we were talking? You put in your
Froze.
uh-oh. Am I froze or is she
No,
froze?
she's frozen.
Oh shoot. That looks good though. The color is awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully she'll come back. Not yet. Oh, the world of Zoom. We're all just frozen in time.
At least she's
Oh,
frozen with a
that's okay.
smile on her face. I hate to get frozen with
Yeah.
your mouth open.
Isn't that the worst? Mhm. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, let's see. Lynn is working on her stuff. What are you working on, Suzette? Are you already making a second one?
Yeah, I'm cutting up padding.
Mm.
For the second one? What
Mhm.
what fabric are you choosing for the second one?
The same stuff because it's wide, real wide.
Oh, is it a wide back fabric?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice. About how much material? 2 yards? Is that what you needed?
I'm not, I think I had like a 4-yard piece, so I still have tons of it left.
Mm.
And are you making a pattern, Casey? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I did the Secret Sleeves class with Pamela Leggett. And so I'm tracing and cutting that out right now. I figured that would be something I could do while I'm also sitting
What?
here with you all.
What's a secret sleeve?
Oh, let's find. I had the pattern here a minute ago. What it is it's basically you make a pair of sleeves out of knit. And so this is the sleeves, and then you can put it under something,
Oh, yeah.
and then you can change from like something that's a sleeveless to something with sleeves.
Ah,
And here in Arizona, you can have a, 20 to 30 degree differential in a day. I thought that might be something to try out because in the morning I need sleeves and by noon I often don't need sleeves anymore. So,
Have you ever owned one before?
no, I understand that they do. I've seen some places where they market it. The ones they were marketing was to kind of almost like girdles for your arms because it was supposed to kind of, firm up. It was a real tight knit. And so it was kind of supposed to firm up your arms for those of us who have little waddles. So, but I don't know if I'll go that tight. I think I'll just do it as like a
Chicken
regular-
wings.
Someone
chicken
needs to
wings.
make a sewing slang dictionary. Sarah,
Sarah.
just the person to do that.
Good morning. I'm a little late there.
All right,
Yeah.
welcome back, Dara. Give us the update. You were frozen in time and space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys always
bummer.
freeze with the funniest faces and I wonder, what did I look like when I did
Yeah.
that?
You look good.
Very pretty.
All right. Long story short, can't pull it tight enough.
Aw.
On the back of this, well, you can't see the back, but there's like a metal frame where these little legs go.
Yes.
And I am about a 1/4 inch too wide. And when it hits those little metal legs, then I can't pull it tight enough. So I'm gonna do the second side and trim like a 1/4 inch off. And then once I get that right, then I'll fix the first side.
Ah,
Oh,
smart.
is it gonna
I
be
have plenty of binding and plenty of fabric. I'm not gonna rip this out. I'm just gonna make another one.
You will, okay.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
Totally. I'm
Now
using
let-
like the grossest, oldest, discolored, probably had this for 25 years. Yucky binding. And I never use this anymore. Whenever I'm sewing something that calls for binding, I just make my own. It's so much nicer and it matches the weight of the fabric and
It is nice.
it lays better and it's softer. And I hate this stuff. So
Yep.
Now, when you make your own binding, do you cut it then on the bias and do you have a little machine or what do you do?
no, I absolutely cut my own. If I'm doing a quilt, I do that thing where you cut the square and cut it on
Yeah.
the diagonal and make yards and yards and yards of it. But if I'm just doing it for a blouse that needs like an armhole or the neck or whatever, I just go to my scraps and I approximate the 45-degree angle and I cut it from that. I don't make bunches of it. And I have those little things that you pull it through,
Yeah.
but usually I don't pre-press it. So there's no
Oh.
need to do that because I just sew it on and then fold it over and fold it under.
Yeah.
Because you want it to lay the way it's naturally going to lay anyway. You don't want to like press something into it that's not then going to fit your curve nicely.
Mm.
Oh, that's a good idea. Okay, very cool. All right, so we have about 20 minutes left. I'm attaching my ruffles to my pretty cover. And I want to ask you guys something. We want to add like a once a month like intro to sewing. Like so for this would be geared towards the people who maybe have had the sewing machine in the closet for
Mm.
10 years and they used to sew or maybe they didn't ever sew, but they just might need some help getting a bobbin wound and getting reacquainted with their machine. So I know none of you need intro to sewing. But would you ever consider coming to that to just help and inspire the new people and encourage them? Because it's probably been a long time since you had that beginner mindset, but they're literally terrified to take it out of the box.
There's always something to learn. I mean, because there's so many ways to do something. So I would definitely pop in for that because I've learned a lot from Dara and even from, Suzette and Sally say they're not, that great. So, but I've learned things from them. And so
Yeah.
you can learn from anybody. So I'd be up for that.
So one of the most common things that I hear, I even hear you say this, Casey, and this can't possibly be true, but one of the most common things that I hear, especially when I have people here in the studio, is I can't sew a straight line. And so I want to bust that myth for them that they can sew a straight line.
Yeah.
I
but
did,
what
I did recently find that I do have a 1/4 inch sewing foot. I have
Yeah.
had this machine for at least 7 years, and I did not know that I had a 1/4 inch. I was like, oh, this is what they've been talking about. So there's
I
hope.
forgot I had one.
Yeah. What other things, like besides winding a bobbin, maybe changing how to change your needle, how to thread it, straight stitch?
How to
River-
open up your, take off your stitch plate and clean that out and take your
Yeah.
bobbin,
I
not just
did
taking your
a
bobbin
small
out, but taking
video.
your bobbin casing out and cleaning under there.
Yeah.
I hear stories
Yeah.
all the time of people who've had a machine for like 5 years and
I had my
have
machine
never
for
done
20
that.
years. I had my machine for 20 years and I never took that plate off or nothing. Actually, you would not believe though, but it wasn't actually that bad.
Wow.
It really wasn't that bad. But I did a small video on my channel showing the basics of how to take that little plate off and clean it, and just the basics of threading a machine and stuff like that, changing the bobbin and cleaning it out. You would not believe how many people really appreciated that and
Oh,
said,
yeah.
you have inspired me to dig my machine out and, start using my machine again, just by showing me those few basic things, because people forget how to do them. People, just put their machine aside and say, oh, I'll sew again, another time, but then they just don't. But little thing like that, they like those little tips and tricks. And
And I think too, a lot of people think they don't have time to sew. And so maybe now they do have time, but they do just need to get acquainted in a non-intimidating way with their machine. So I'm going to add that in April, and it'll just be a one-time event. And then if we have new people who attend it, then we might try and do it once a month. Just
like, I'm not sure if you
see.
said, but did you say how to thread your machine properly?
Mhm,
Yeah, because that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we could talk about needle types and thread types, because
And yeah,
that
what
can
type of
cause-
needle do you use with what you're making? That's another
that's
thing.
a lot of frustration, I think, if you have crappy thread. Sorry for
The different types of threads you could use, how to tell, like, when you're using material, which way the grain's going on the material, all little things like that some people don't even know. I'll be honest, like, I had no idea at different points of some of those things. Like, I didn't
And
know that one way material was different than other way when I first started sewing. So
Right.
Okay, and then the second class, which I want to introduce, but
Is to learn how to swear when you make a mistake.
no, but I need a name that's not misleading for this. I was hoping that Gay was going to be here today. I want to add just a once a month kind of exploring quilting. I am not a quilter, but I want to learn. And I think, like, you can learn together, right?
Yeah.
I think if we can read, we can learn together, right? So what's a name for that? Is exploring quilting enough to not imply that I'm going to teach you to quilt, because I can't teach you to quilt. I have to learn with you.
I think that sounds good.
Yeah, exploring. That sounds good, because it makes it sound like you could be exploring as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
Explore
would also,
quilting with me.
yeah. And there's there's tons and tons of books out there about this, and videos. And so we could just pick a focus like we do with our Tuesday group, but it would just be once a month, just to learn something new and inspire
It
each
is-
other.
There is a learning curve, for years I always said, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to take a nice piece of fabric, cut it into little pieces just to sew it all back up again? And I just thought it was ridiculous. But I decided if I'm a sewer, if I'm a real sewer, that's just another whole realm I should know how to do.
Yeah.
So I did take, like, there was a quilting store in the town I lived in, and once a month they did a block of the month. And if you paid for the first block, but if you got the next block done by the next month, you got it free. So
Ah,
every month you would get a free block if you completed the last one and brought it in
Nice.
to show them, which was a really good deal. And every new block had a new technique.
yeah.
So I learned a lot in doing that. I really learned a lot. And so this has only been a few years, but yeah, I appreciated just even those little techniques because there is a little learning curve compared to like garment sewing or something else.
So
I did have,
And I sew wonky.
would be good. Oh, I'm sorry, Cheryl. You sew lumpy, you say?
I sew wonky quilts, so I
Oh,
went
wonky
over,
quilt.
yeah, I went over to crazy quilting because
Yeah,
it's more forgiving.
and patchwork would be fun too, but do you think it would be good to structure that then, like start with a really super simple block that we
Yeah,
already have instructions to and just attempt to make that, and then we can get
yeah,
more.
like a 9 patch is very easy.
yeah,
Okay.
because what you're doing is you're learning how to do something, but also you're learning terminology. And so it's, you know, whether you have a simple thing, you learn how to press, which is a whole different technique, or you learn how to, you know, like what seam allowance or things like that. There are some simple techniques, and then the whole idea of quilting on top of it with your machine, you know, too. Just the simple start. Yeah.
Okay, so if
Stitch in the
those-
ditch.
yeah, I did know what that is. If those two classes were good for April, then and how many of you have embroidery machines?
I
Sally? No, Sally doesn't. Dara, you don't have an embroidery machine either, huh? Wow. Okay, so there might be a monthly embroidery machine one too, or just fun with embroidery machine, because like Suzette has a brand new machine that she hasn't played with much. So that could be, she's like, no, that won't be fun for me.
I had an idea for your first thing though, with starting with sewing. One of the things that I know people struggle with, and usually why they give up, is because their machine has jammed with thread. So, what are the top reasons why your machine jams with thread and how to fix it?
Yeah.
And they're
In
usually pretty simple things.
Every person who ever came into the studio that was new, the first thing they said is, I've had this forever, but it doesn't work. And sure enough,
Yeah.
it's that bobbin. Yeah. Okay, I agree. They get it stuck, jammed up. So, so I imagine that I have several machines here, like 6 that I can see right now with different, you know, parts. And then do any of you have multiple machines if somebody, you know, had a different feature?
I have
That
different,
Casey,
yeah.
Cheryl. So, so if you're able to attend, if the timing works between all of us, we could probably troubleshoot what was
Yeah.
happening with the actual machine. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this, but these ruffles are stinking cute.
Oh, how cute. I love it.
It's really fun. Thank you for this material, Suzette. And here's
I'm
a-
gonna have to add ruffles to my little, whatchamacallit.
Ooh, that would be nice, Cheryl.
Yeah. How about purple on top of
Mhm.
it?
Okay,
Some
anybody
orange.
else have an update on their project?
Andrea, I have a question for you. When you
Yes.
did your NCW last Thursday, you had mentioned previously you were considering doing it in Cork. Did you do it in Cork?
I did. Did you not get to see it, Gloria, when it was
That
done?
I had the doctor appointment and I
I'll
didn't
go
come.
get it for you. Hang on one second.
Thank you.
Sewing machine, the sewing machine.
Oh,
Ooh
that.
la
is
la.
beautiful. Oh,
It did. I love it so much.
Oh, yeah, that turned out really great.
I never knew they had cork with sparkles in it. That's
Oh, they
pretty.
have it with everything
Love
now.
it.
Yeah.
Where did you get your cork from?
That was from Hobby Lobby, and they had it on
Oh.
clearance for $2 in the little
Wow.
rolls. I bought all of them that were there.
Yeah, because I
Wow.
thought you said it was inexpensive. That's what I was like, where did she get it from?
It was $2 of cork to make this wallet.
You were
Hmm.
really, really lucky.
Yeah.
Because most of the
that
fabric
color
stores.
at Hobby Lobby.
Yep. It's like orange, Sally. Does it look orange?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's in a package, Sally.
That flap would look
Oh,
cute
the
with a
lava
ruffle on it.
The little logos.
What's
I
that,
think
Sally?
so.
It's in a roll. Yeah. I'm trying to look and see if I brought any here. I think I still have it all at home.
Because all I've ever seen there is black, blue, and brown.
I got a pretty green, this orange, like a zebra kind of stripe.
Yeah.
And I got probably 6 or 7 rolls.
Yeah, they have animal print too.
Yeah, because I have the black one with the little gold spots on it.
Mhm.
So maybe I'll make my, because remember I said I wanted to make another one, but I was gonna make it I was thinking about making it in a cork. Maybe I'll make mine in the black one like that I have.
Mm.
And this cork is so nice because it's so light. So for this
Is it-
wallet, it feels really light. Whereas the other one that I have made out of denim, it's very heavy with nothing in it.
Wow.
Does that have gold flecks in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you able to?
That's really
sew-
nice.
Were you able to sew the sides or did you rivet?
Can I see the inside again?
Uh-huh. Let me make sure none of my credit card numbers are out to you, man. I don't want you to go shopping.
Need to go for a fabric run.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
And so I made like a cradle type thing in the center. And so I put my glasses in there, but it's also super awesome for receipts.
Now,
Mm.
how was that sewing down on the sides?
The machine did it. And I just sewed at a triangle angle.
Okay. Was
And
that easier?
What's that?
Was it easier just to do at an angle like that?
I mean, I had to go really slow. I was fully expecting the needle to break. It didn't.
There's got to be an easier way to do that on the sides, whether it's
I think those clamps, if you could find the bars and just clamp it on, would be the best solution.
what clamps are those?
I don't know that they exist, but I just imagine they'd be like 1.5-inch bars and you just clamp them down. You have them,
All these
Joanne?
clamps that
Have some?
exist in your mind. You're just making them up?
I can kind
Yeah.
of picture them on designer bags. I think they exist.
They do.
Oh, so this is something you would keep on your.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
thought you
no,
meant
no, no.
they
This
were
is
like
for
something like you-
sewing. You know how
Look
you have
on-
the mini clips? These are big clips for sewing, to
Yeah.
help you. Yeah.
No.
No, I
Look on
want
Etsy for bag making and leather making doodads.
leather. That's right. You told us
And
that.
you can find little corners, you can find little clips. The only
Corners.
issue is they don't always have a way to attach them. Some of them are really more decorative than functional. So it's hard to tell from an Etsy listing if it's gonna meet your needs.
Yeah,
Do you
if
think
you could find a corner that would fit on there, that would truly be perfect.
if there was no interfacing in that accordion part, it would be a lot easier to sew?
I think it might be too floppy. I think it's still going to have some interfacing. It could be really light.
Like I'm just wondering, what would be the purpose of, like, why do we need the interfacing there?
Whoops. So like if you didn't have this interface, that fold would not stay in. Eventually it would kind of make its way out
Just too light, okay.
And it would, yeah, it would be misshapen. And the only reason I know that is from when we were making the millionth prototype of the other wallet.
Cause yeah. Cause I had no problem with that wallet. The only issue I had was just on the ends there. And I did get down, a good 1.5 inches, but I just kept thinking to myself, there must have been a better way to do that.
I think
Because I
it's a
thought the
lot
pattern
better.
was really, really nice, except for that. Yeah,
I would look for those corners, Tammy. Let's see if we can find them, or bars, something you could just clamp right on there and it's over.
yeah.
And you don't even ever sew it. I think that's the best solution. Okay, let's real quick in our last 4 minutes decide what we want to sew next Thursday.
I brought something.
Let's see then. Cuteness.
Now I wonder if anybody knows what these are.
Pin cushions.
Pattern weight?
No, that's what my daughter said.
Fabric
There's a little
weights.
Yes,
Oh,
they're like, so when you're cutting out your pattern, they're pattern weights. So
That's
instead of putting
amazing.
all the pins, you can put these little pattern weights. And then I
What's
put a little ribbon to pick them up.
those are adorable. I like that a lot. And
There's
does
no pattern.
you can make your own pattern, right?
Correct, yeah, whatever size you want. It's just a square. I find the littler ones are a little bit better. And I don't remember, it feels like I might have put rice in here. I don't remember what I stuffed them with. But you could put, I don't know, lavender, something fabulous. You can smell while you're sewing. But it does save on the pins, and having dogs, I'm always worried about the pins on the floor. So I
Mhm.
just found them yesterday. When I'm cleaning up my sewing room, and I thought, well, this is a quick, easy project.
I like that. Any objections to doing that next Thursday?
Well, if you all need them.
I do.
Well, with my recent construction experience, there are lots of these washers all over the construction
Yes.
site. And some of them, these are perfectly clean. So I
Cute.
might encase a few of these in some fabric to make
That's what I
some.
said. I would put these in them.
Oh, geez, yours are huge too, Sally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine
I
are this
bought
big.
some.
I put these
Mine
on
are
my
that
desk.
big. Yeah.
Oh,
They're real nice because the weight holds them down, but they were expensive. I had some that were kind of rusted, but
Yeah.
covering them is a big plus, however you cover them.
Yeah.
But the weight really does help.
Well, I paid for these in the construction costs, so I'm figuring
You own them.
I own them.
Lynn, did you have to hand sew yours shut?
I don't remember. I used to use these all the time. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of hand sewing. But all you quilters probably have a ton of scraps that are exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
And then the ribbon.
And I
don't
like
know that
the
you
idea
need it.
of having something to pick them up. I have some, but these are so thin that when you try and pick them up, sometimes you move things
Right.
but having a handle on it would be a clever idea.
I
Yeah.
think so too. I have lots of pretty ribbon. Okay, let's pick one more project for the Thursday after that, because then that lets them promote it.
Mhm.
So it should be like an hour or less.
Oh, gosh. You could probably make one of these easily in an hour.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're gonna do
Oh,
that this
another
coming
easy one.
Thursday, but the Thursday after that.
Oh, I only had one idea.
Any other ideas? You got any ideas, Suzette?
How about that caddy that Cheryl showed us that go over the arm?
That
Yeah,
is very
I
nice.
really want one of
idea.
those.
Do you want to do that the next Thursday?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we need a little bit of lead time on that to get pattern and
Mm.
materials and stuff. So that would be a good one to do this next one after.
Okay, and would you call that an ironing board caddy? Or organizer? Oh, we
A
can't hear
sewing
you.
organizer, maybe.
Sewing organizer. Okay.
Because you don't have to use it on the ironing board. You can put it on your sofa, you can put it on wherever your chair.
Okay.
You know those Barca loungers with the beer refrigerator underneath? Now they can have a sewing cat.
Yeah. Okay, so those will be our next two projects. And if anybody has a favorite tutorial for the sewing organizer, share them, or a pattern.
Carol said she would try to get that pattern from her friend.
Okay, and we might be able to find it too in a Google search or whatever. We're missing Kim this morning. She must not need an ironing board cover. Okay, let's just check in with Dara before we say goodbye and see what's happening.
Nothing exciting. And now I got my bigger one.
Oh boy, that's
Oh.
pretty with that trim.
Well, you'll never see it. It'll be underneath.
Okay. Do you think it's a better fit?
Well, I have to thread it. That's going to take a while. It takes a while to like scooch it all the way through. And you
Yeah.
can't really use any kind of like long tool because you have to force it
Yeah.
because it's a tight curve.
Okay. What are you sewing, Sally?
I have two pieces to mine, so I'm sewing both of them.
Okay.
I'm using my fabric, the fabric that I didn't like. The fabric that I said looks like a cow.
I like that fabric.
But I figured it would be a good fabric because it's like I figure it won't mess up to sew on.
Mhm.
I'm almost done with the first one. It has the ironing board has folds like this. It's a little small one.
That's
That folds.
nice. Mine doesn't fold up like that.
Yeah, it's a little one though, but it folds.
Okay, maybe you can bring it to show us on Friday and I'll bring mine on my, and Dara, you can bring yours. And Suzette, then we'll see yours then. And Joanne, where are you at with yours, Joanne?
I was sitting here just listening to you guys too much, so I wasn't sewing at the
You know, I
time.
messed you up. Yeah, yours is
So it's gonna take me a little while still, but not too much.
When I just got halfway around, here's my pin inside. So here's my bottom. I got all the way up here and I didn't tie a square knot and my string just left the
Oh,
pin.
darn it.
Oh.
Oh, darn it. The only thing
Make
worse
that
than
mistake
that,
many times.
yeah, the only thing worse than that is poking yourself and bleeding on it. Then you're sadder.
That would be bad too.
These would be good gems to share with those first timers because a part of sewing is just remembering that stuff's gonna happen and it's
Yeah.
gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, well, good luck to everyone on the ironing board cover, and I hope to see them tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern. Okay, have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.